advice to you is that even as good as this Tesla navigation system is, use your brain. Don't just listen to what it tells you to do. I'm not so sure that I did the right thing by listening to the Tesla nav sending me to the Yulee charger on these back roads, because I'm doing 28 miles an hour behind a travel trailer and I can't pass because this road is a mess. So I just put in the navigation into Waze. That was a little bit amateur on my part. You know, the navigation, oh, here we go. Now, look at that. Oh, that's beautiful. Rolling coal right onto the Tesla. What is that? What is that?
Hello and welcome to another episode of Out of Spec Dave, where today we're going to be taking a pretty long road trip. For those who have done these trips in the past with me, no big deal. We're going from Marco Island, Florida, all the way up to Connecticut. Reality is vacation's over. It's time to get back to work. And Kathy's smart. She's flying home. But it's just going to be me and Bailey on this trip. And it's going to be a long, fun one. Hopefully a little bit of education as well. So let me introduce to you my traveling companion. This is Bailey. Maybe some of you might know Bailey from other road trips that we've done together. But she's excited. She's ready. She's had her breakfast. She's all ready for a nice road trip. And at least I think she is. For those of you who have never thought about road tripping an EV, or if you have major range anxiety, you're thinking about why would I go on a road trip with an electric car? How do I charge? Where do I charge? How does it tell me? How does the car tell me where to go? Let me show you what that's all about and have some fun along the way. First thing we need in order to do a road trip is a car, right? Enough with this morning walk. Where's the car? This is a pre-owned, out of warranty, 65,000 miles on this car. Initially when I got it, it had some issues. It wasn't connected to the internet for over 10 months. So what I did was I threw a hotspot off my Wi-Fi, or off my phone, and as soon as I did that, the car reconnected to the internet, the LTE connected. This has the original MCU, the old sort of, you'll see the big screen in the car. It's kind of the older one, but I'll tell you, this car's got the 19-inch, I think they call them the Slipstream wheels. This is in midnight silver metallic with cream colored seats on the inside. As far as packing this car, I have a lot of stuff in here. And you know, one of the things that's important about road tripping is making sure that you have room. And boy, do I have room, because I mean, this thing it just absorbed all of this gear that we've had here down for the whole summer. In terms of where Bailey's gonna ride, she knows where to go. All right, Bailey, you're gonna hop in. Get in right here. Come here. Hey, girl, go on. Get in here. Bailey, right here. Go on. There she goes. All right, good girl. You sit. The first leg of this trip is to meet our daughter, Kathy, and my daughter, Katie, up in Tampa for breakfast. And I think I'm leaving with around 150 miles of range, and somewhere along the way, I'll figure out where. That's where I'm gonna stop and charge. Anyway, we're off, and it's a beautiful morning here. I've got exactly 150 miles of range in this car. So, you know, look, is this a 300-mile car when I'm doing 70 plus miles an hour? No. Is this a 270-mile car? Probably. So that should be a little bit of an advantage today on the trip, because the Ioniq 5, when I compare it to the Ioniq 5, which is the car that I most recently road tripped this same exact trip in, that car had a range of maybe around 240 miles, and it used a different network, not the Tesla network, but it used the Electrify America charging stations predominantly is what I used, which is the charging combo system, the CCS, the public network. It's the network that actually has to support
multiple cars, not just Tesla. We're going to take this big giant trip and we're going to break it down into little chunks, little segments. The cars, in this case, the car has got en-route planning. It tells us exactly where to stop next. Sometimes you may override that. You may say, you know what, I think I can go to the next station, or for whatever reason you may want to stop at a station earlier. Tesla makes it so easy to charge, and it's refreshing to be back in a Tesla after many years of not owning a Tesla. And I'm excited to just see how, quite honestly, how boring this is. So let's go. You know, the stats here, it's 80 to 82 degrees, 7:19 a.m. I don't know how long it's going to take us. I'm not in a rush. But, you know, look, we're going to have some fun, Bailey and I. And maybe, Bailey, maybe we'll stop it south of the border. What do you think, pup? So just checking in here, we're about halfway to Punta Gorda, maybe a little more, just north of Fort Myers, and we're at a 28% state of charge, and the arrival, it says that we're going to arrive with about a 21% state of charge. The amount of data that is going to be captured on this trip is going to be quite a bit. And one of the apps that I'm planning on using to capture this data is called Teslafy.com. For those of you that are in the know, it's the most amazing app I've ever seen. If you're into analytics, if you're into data, if you're into charting, it's an incredible app that actually, what you do when you sign up for Teslafy, you actually use your user ID and your password from your Tesla app, from your Tesla account. And what you do is you give permission to Teslafy to take all the data from your car. Now, for those of you who are not into sharing data, this is definitely not the app for you. But if you're not a conspiracy theory person and you want to be able to see where you charged, how long you charged, how many times you charged, the graphs, the elevation, everything, it's just mind-blowing to me how much data there is in the Teslafy app. So I'll be able to use that app when we summarize this trip, when I put together the summary, comparing it to the road trip that I did in both the ID4 and the Ioniq 5, so we can kind of see how it's going. But look, you know, so far, uneventful trip. I've been on autopilot pretty much the whole time, and it's solid as can be. This car rides great. This has the air suspension, and beautiful riding car. I do have one little wind noise issue over there. I have sensitive ears. I don't know why, but little things bug me. My wife tells me I have something called misophonia. I don't know what that is, but it sounds pretty cool, and I kind of like it. It's just little noises that bug me, and I do hear a noise over there. That noise, I'm coming after you noise. You're gonna be, I'm gonna figure you out, and we're gonna get that noise reduced, because that's crazy. So anyway, next we'll check in at the Punta Gorda Supercharger station, and we'll see you up there. so we got off the Punta Gorda. It looks like we're going into a Wawa, which I love the Wawa. It's great. They've got good coffee, they've got good breakfast, and I hope this is it. Yeah, pretty sure this is it. You know, half the fun is trying to find these chargers once you get to wherever they are if you don't really know them. It's been a while since I've been here. Super crowded. Nobody's here. This is beautiful. All right, so let's plug in. We'll get some juice. Let me show you how to plug in. Super easy. All right, Bailey, so we're at our first stop here. Bailey, hello? Are you sleepy? She's sleepy. Well, first thing you got to do, we got to go to dog mode. All right, hit that. Bing, bang, boom. And then we're at 22% state of charge. Didn't go super fast. We're just kind of cruising down the road a little bit. Not that warm out today, which is good. So, what do? You grab this handle, and then you just push this little button right there. The flap opens, and oh, wouldn't you know it, fail. I didn't back up enough. Hold please, hold please. Oh, how amateur of me. Oh, all right, let's try that again. It was funny, when I got back in the car, dog mode was on, and Bailey looked at me, and you know that Nelly song, So Hot in Here, that was playing. Beautiful. So all you do is you plug in, and that's it. That's all you got to do. You'll notice that there are loud fans on, and you know, the question is what's going on there? So one of the things you'll learn is that these electric vehicles have coolant that can either be heated or cooled and runs through the battery pack. And what's happening right now is the battery is probably warm, and the coolant system is on, working hard to keep the battery at an optimal temperature to be able to receive as much electricity from this charging station as possible. Now you'll notice this charging station has a very thin cable here. This is a V3, which means it's capable of outputting 250 kilowatts of energy. Now this car will not charge quite that fast. Let's go ahead and see what we're pulling in terms of kilowatts. This is a little bit older car. Believe it or not, the Model 3s and the Model Ys will charge faster than this car. So you can see we're pulling 116 kilowatts, which is this number right here. And we've added 13 kilowatt hours. For those of you that are new to charging, think of kilowatt hours as kind of like a gallon of gas. This car has a battery pack that instead of, let's say, a 22-gallon gas tank, this car has a approximately 94 or 95 kilowatt hour battery pack. And so far we've added 14 kilowatt hours to the pack. We pulled in with a state of charge of 21%, and we're up to 37% in terms of how much energy is in the pack. You'll notice it says 378 miles per hour. Now that's an estimate. You really want to look at, in my opinion, you want to look at the speed with which you're pulling the energy of around 109 kilowatts. I can tell you that my Ioniq 5 at this state of charge on an Electrify America station, I would be pulling double this speed. So, you know, for those of you who are out there saying that Tesla's got the best charging network, they do. It's the most reliable. You plug in, it works pretty much every time, unless you don't back up far enough, which is something I have a personal issue with that. But you know, but what happens is when you pull in these, especially this is a Model 100D. Not a super old Model S, but it's the older technology. So a Model Y or a Model 3 or a new Model S long range or Plaid will charge at a much faster speed than this. But you know, look, this is still pulling over 100 kilowatts.
and I just need to be patient. It's all good. At 75% state of charge right now, you can see we've ramped down to 56 kilowatts. We've received 47 kilowatt hours of energy. And one of the things I wanted to show you over here is, how do you put a price tag on that energy? You know, over here we've got the Wawa where people are filling up with gas. It's it's actually only $3.49 a gallon here in Florida, in Punta Gorda, for regular gas. But one of the things that you can do here is, as you're pulling into these stations, is you can click on the station and you can see that you're at 44 cents a kilowatt hour. So if you calculate that out and you were to go from 0 to 100% state of charge, which is roughly 94 kilowatt hours, not to say that I'm doing that here, but you would notice that that would be about $42 to fill this car up, which would give approximately 275 miles of range. And so it's actually not that much cheaper. Now, a lot of these stations, as we go on this trip, I'll hopefully remember to look at the cost per kilowatt hour. But for example, in Naples, Florida, which is kind of my home charging station, it is between the hours of 12 noon and 9 p.m. It's 56 cents a kilowatt hour. And any time other than that, it's only 26 cents a kilowatt hour. Something like that. 58 cents at the high and 26 cents at the low. So, you know, you should think about, if you don't have a free charging plan, or you know, you have something like that, excuse me, think about where you're actually going to charge, not only where, but also what time and what rate you're paying. Now, some of these charging stations, I think what happens is this is being charged based on kilowatt hours consumed, which is a good thing, because if you're able to pull at a faster rate, you know, you're out of there quicker. But some of the other charging stations, they may charge you per minute, and if you're pulling a lower amount of energy and they charge you at a per minute rate, be very conscious of that, because that can cost you a lot of money. I have 78% state of charge, and what I can do is I can go over here to display and change the display from energy display to distance, which kind of gives me, it's telling me now that I've got 240 miles of range. I don't believe that. I've probably got 200 miles of range, because I'm going to be going at highway speeds. This one here is only 113 miles away. I can definitely make it to that one. The ones that are gray, it doesn't look like I'd be able to make it to. So what's cool about this is it kind of tells you, and I'm doing this manually. I could put in a destination and it would tell me where to go. But I think I'm going to go to Gainesville. Gainesville says 189 miles. It's showing me 242 miles of range. 189 there. Guess what? It's time to go. So let's unplug. Bailey, what do you say? Hit the button. You'll see that the little light turns to light blue. Just put it back in the charging holster right there, and we are off. Now, I'm going to do a pit stop, go see Katie, our daughter, and somewhere I'll give her a call and we'll figure out where we're going to go. We've got some Teslas moving in here. We got a couple of Ys, actually 3 Ys. So it's time to go. Let's get going. Back on the road after our first charging stop in Punta Gorda. Made a couple of phone calls, used the restroom, and I've decided that I'm actually going to go directly to my daughter's house in Tampa. So I'm going to get off the highway and go across over to St. Pete, and then across over to Tampa, which should be fine. But that's going to change. Oh,
Nice Model X ice wrap on that bad boy. Very nice. I like that. Anyway, so that's going to change where I'm going to go. So I may not be able to get to Gainesville, or I may be able to get to Gainesville. We'll see. But right now, I don't need to worry about it. It's just on the road, going to Katie's house. So let's go. All right, so just a quick check-in. I am about 45 miles and about 45 minutes away from where my daughter lives in Tampa. And, you know, there's this thing called phantom braking that is something that is relatively common with these Teslas. Maybe other cars as well. I haven't really experienced it so much with the HDA1 or HDA2 and the EGMP platform cars, or even in the Volkswagen, not as much. But what happens is, I was cruising down the road, going over one of these bridges, and the car just brakes for no reason. I mean, I'm sure it has a reason, and I'm not criticizing the decision that the computer's telling the car to slow down, because it's getting a signal that perhaps there's something wrong, or perhaps it's going to crash into something. So I'm okay that it is braking, but if it does it where there's no reason to brake, that's what we in the industry call phantom braking. And I just experienced it. And there was an X5 right pretty close to my tail, and you know, he thought I brake checked him, and he was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" So I don't know. It's kind of weird. I'm going to keep an eye on that, the number of times that it's phantom brakes on this journey. I mean, like, for example, here's a bridge, right? This is a bridge. How does the car know not to brake because there's a bridge that's there? Now, is it using maps? Does it know there's a bridge there because of the maps? I don't think so. New bridges can go up. Old bridges can be taken down. I think what it's doing is it's reading the road and interactively making decisions. So, you know, the decisions that it makes sometimes are right, sometimes they're wrong. The one back there, it was wrong. There was no reason to brake there.
Well, I just had a nice visit with Katie. Here's her A3. Q3, not A3. What am I talking about? Bailey, you want to get back in the car? She didn't have much time. She's got a luncheon. I don't know what's going on, brunch or something. And I am going to hop back on the road and keep traveling. It was great to see her here in Tampa. And Bailey, come on, let's go. All right, Bailey, let's go to the car. Let's go to the car. Do you know which car it is? If this girl can guess which car I've got, then you know she's really smart. All right, she's gonna pick it out. Which car is it? Which car? Whoa, look at this. The girl knows. Good girl. Good girl, Bailey. You know which car it is. Amazing. All right, Bailey, so we had a nice visit with Katie, and now we're gonna get back on the road. So let's figure out where we're gonna go. I've got roughly 140 miles of range, and let's see, This is kind of a fun way. I always like to do it this way, where you just kind of scroll through and you figure out where you can go. Let's see. So just as I'm ready to drive away, car says key not inside vehicle. Buzz Lightyear is saying no key, but I will tell you, Buzz, there is a key. Here it is. Now, it's possible that the key battery is low, so no problem. I'm just going to go on the app, turn the car on from the Tesla app, and then we're gonna continue on the trip. So don't worry, Bailey, we have backups. Okay, so it's time to hit the road. I had to use the app in order to start the car, no problem. I'm sure the battery's just dying in this thing. It's actually been kind of acting up. When I have the key fob in my pocket, it started to not work if it was behind my cell phone, and then it started to not work when it wasn't behind my cell phone, and then it kind of worked a little bit. So I think it's just the battery is going. Right down this road here on the left, what is this? Tyson. The end of that road, that's where the Salt Shack is. One of my favorite restaurants here in Tampa. Right on the water, seafood, you know, flip-flops, shorts, t-shirts, love it. Great place, highly recommended. Go to the Salt Shack if you get a chance.
6A, 6B on the right.
6A, 6B. I gotta get off here. I was gonna say that
now keep right to
this is pretty cool. Straight ahead is where the Bolts play, the Stanley Cup. They were two-time Stanley Cup champions. This year they lost it in the finals, in the Stanley Cup finals. But I mean, who would have thought hockey? I mean, I know it's a silly thing, but hockey in Florida is alive and well right here in downtown Tampa. I've been here when the games are going on. The streets pour out with people. There's a University of South Florida campus right here. It's a party scene, and boy, does this town love its hockey team. The Bolts, it's all about the Bolts, folks. Welcome to Tampa. So just check the actual rates at Ocala on the app. On the Tesla app, what's nice is it tells you 5 stalls of 8 are available. It says they're 150 kilowatt max, which means these are V2s, version 2s. There's no 250s, at least to my knowledge. But one of the interesting things, it's also charging 44 cents per kilowatt hour, same as Punta Gorda that we charged at. Interestingly enough, on the CCS network with Electrify America, they have a plan where you can actually become a member. It's possible that you may buy a car that comes with 3 or 2 years worth of free Electrify America charging. So for example, the Ioniq 5 comes with 2 years free. The EV6 comes with 1,000 kilowatt hours, which is kind of weird. The GV60, which is the Genesis version of that same platform car, comes with 3 years free Electrify America. Lucid also comes with 3 free years. But the point is that if you don't have free Electrify America charging, then you have to pay the rates. And what they have is a 2-tiered rate where you can actually buy down the rate. Unlike Tesla, I don't think you have a package deal where you can negotiate the rates down. And I believe on Electrify America, you may pay a high rate if you're not a member. It could be as high as 50 something cents a kilowatt hour.
and the locations and the way with which they're able to deliver the electricity. But if you buy down the rate and become a member for, I think, $5 or $10 a month, something very small, you can get 31 cents a kilowatt hour, which is a pretty good deal. So, you know, there's a lot of people that talk about free charging being a good thing, and it is a good thing if you're incentivized to purchase the car. But one of the challenges is that these Electrify America stations are starting to get very busy, and I'll be curious to see what's the state of play here on a August afternoon or an August weekend on the Tesla network. I don't think that it's common to have waiting times here on the East Coast yet. But what's also interesting is we have this convergence of the two networks that are going on right now between the CCS and the Tesla. At least if you have a Tesla and you are CCS enabled, this car unfortunately is not. The capability of this car, I can't get that CCS to Tesla adapter, which is available, I think, for some reason from South Korea. There may be a couple of different units coming out on the market right now. But what this little adapter does is it allows you to charge at an Electrify America or an EV Go or a charge point station that is a CCS network, which is the dual combo. And that really is attractive to me from a flexibility standpoint, to be able to have a Tesla that could charge either at the Tesla network or at Electrify America. Couple reasons why. Number one, maybe the Supercharger stations are full, right? So you could look up on the EA app and see maybe the Electrify America station is not full. The other thing you can do is you can comparison shop. You can say, oh, Tesla's charging me 44 cents a kilowatt hour, and if you're a paying customer, you got to pay it. But Electrify America, because I'm a member, I only have to pay 31 cents a kilowatt hour. So it's starting to become a fun game. Even though we're in a Tesla now, I think that the rules now have gotten expanded, especially if you have one of these CCS enabled cars. I believe the Model 3s and Model Ys are, and the latest versions of the Model S's are as well. So it's getting fun out there. It's not just Tesla anymore. You know, you plug in, it works and all that. But imagine, you know, people at Electrify America confused and seeing Teslas charging at their network. And wait till it goes the other way around, where, you know, what's happening over in Europe right now, because the Teslas actually have a different plug-in connector with the CCS connector. You know, you've got non-Tesla cars charging at Tesla Superchargers now, and oh boy, that's interesting, right? So imagine, you know, let's say I'm driving my wife's GV60, and I have an adapter that allows me to plug in, assuming the Tesla network opens up. I mean, listen, I'll pay for it. You know, I'm a paying customer, but I just think that the Tesla community, maybe I'm wrong, but I think the Tesla community, there's going to be a subset of that community that are going to be maybe not so welcoming of non-Tesla cars. This is my network, I've heard people say, and that's not my feeling. I love what Tesla's done building out the network, but if Tesla can subsidize that network and allow non-Tesla cars to charge there and make money, I think that's better for the company. So look, things are getting interesting. It's not just, you know, go up and down the East Coast now on a supercharging network with Tesla, and it's same old. This is a fun time to be in the EV space. But if you just want to you just want to keep it really simple, just buy a Tesla, buy a Model 3, buy a Model Y, you know, or one of the newer S's or X's, and just use this navigation. Everything just works with Tesla. It's so easy. It's almost boring. So we've gotten off the exit here at Ocala. Looks like there's a lot of nice places for us to maybe get something to eat, take a little break. And but one of the things that I wanted to point out that I had forgotten is that dog mode does not actually work. I think it's under 20%. So keep that in mind if you're thinking about you know, stopping for a bite to eat before you get to a charging station, or if you're under 20% state of charge, the dog mode function is disabled. And so just take that into account before you make a decision, especially in this heat, 98 degrees. I can't leave this little pup in the car for more than a minute or two before it's amazing how fast cars heat up with in these kinds of heats inside. It's like a greenhouse effect or whatever. So be real careful with that. Take that into account. Dog mode under 20%, don't be using it. It won't even let you. All right, so we're pulling into the Ocala Tesla Supercharger. There's some good good places over here where we can get something to eat. It looks like quite a few Teslas are here. I'm gonna have to wedge myself in here and try to charge. This guy's super crooked. All right, so Bailey, you're doing great so far. I took you out of your little house there just for a little bit, but you'll see that the dog mode here is disabled. This is where it normally is, and that's disabled. I think this Supercharger is, at this point, I think it's completely full right now. We'll have to check that in a minute, but just plug in. There we go. All right, so we've got it going on here. Yeah, look at this. East Coast coming on strong. Looks like we've got the whole row is filled. So yeah, this is just like California style over here in the East Coast. Well, actually, we're on the west coast of Florida, so I guess that makes up for it. All right, so I got a little bit of lunch, something healthy for a change, which is good. And one of the concerns I have here at this particular Ocala station is it's only a version 2, which means that each one of these chargers is actually sharing a cabinet with another. So I'm only pulling 71 kilowatts at a state of charge of around 40%. So what I'm gonna do is go in the car, I'm gonna look at where the next V3 is, and I think we're gonna get out of here as soon as possible. So you can see that I am on cabinet 3B over here, and I'm sharing with this Model Y 3A. Now, I could change, I could swap over, but I think it's time to get going here, and we'll just keep pressing on the trip. Let's jump in and see what the next station is that is a V3 that we can get up. The thing about V3s is not only are they 250s, they don't share. So you're gonna be able to pull faster speeds, especially if you have a car that's capable of pulling faster speeds. My car, maybe not as much as the Model 3Y or a new S, but I definitely can pull 130, 140. So I think we're out of here as soon as possible. So back in a Tesla, and you think it's all good, but look at this here. I'm at 32% state of charge, pulling 52 kilowatts. I mean, that is just bad. So what I want to do is I want to get up to this Yulee station, and I don't have enough juice yet because I'm actually sharing with this cabinet over here on this Model Y. So I think what we're going to do here is I'm going to unplug real quick. I'm going to go over to, oh boy, somebody just pulled into this one over here. I'm going to see, there may be some others over there. I'm going to try and find one that I don't have to share. I'm going to juice up. I'm going to hopefully pull over 100 if I do that. And then as soon as I can, I'm going to get out of here and go all the way up to this Yulee. So that's the strategy. Man, is it hot out there. So just as I was about ready to, I did unplug and I was going to go over to 1A, 1B. They were empty. A Model 3 pulled in. So now what we have is,
there's no cabinets. There's all 1A, 1B, all the way through 4A to 4B, and they're all being shared right now. So what I need to do is kind of stay here. I'm pulling 59 kilowatts. It's just this is not good. I mean, I know a lot of people say Tesla is the way to go, best supercharger network, but these V2s where they're sharing, and this Model 100 that can't really take advantage of the 250s, not anywhere near as good as what you're getting with EA in a GV60. Now again, a Model 3, a Model Y, a newer S, a newer X out of V3, different story. But this particular situation here it's just annoying. I mean, this car should charge a lot faster. Oh wait, good news. Model 3 is pulling away. I gotta move fast. Hold on. All right, you gotta act quick here. Let's go. 2A and 2B, or not to be, are both empty. So let's see if what I'm saying actually will hold true. When I plug into 2B, I should shoot up over 100. You know, so let's see what happens here. Okay, so I heard the connectors. I've now plugged in, and let's see what happens. Come on, baby, ramp up. I was pulling 52 before. There we go. All right. So there is still a little strategy left in the Tesla world. I'm loving it. Now we're pulling 132. Okay, this is respectable. I will take this because that's about all that this puppy can take, even on a good day. So yeah, that was a good move. Good move. Thank you, Model 3, for leaving. Appreciate that. So as I'm thinking about this mathematical problem, I can't help my brain, but you know, which is going to be cheaper? Do I push it to Kingsland and pay per minute, or do I stop off in Yulee where it's a V3 and charge a little bit faster? And because Kyle said I should be getting 170, 180 on a V3 in this car. You know, so as I called Kyle and I asked him, and he's like, Dad, why are you wasting my time with this? It's, who cares how much it costs, right? It's about, because time is money. Go to the charging station that's going to charge it the fastest and be done with it. Why are you overthinking this? And I just I can't help my brain, right? I'm thinking, if I get charged per minute to charge in Georgia, and I have a car that can charge at 220 kilowatts, and then I have another car that charges at 110 kilowatts, then I know that I'm paying double for the electricity. It's not like 10%, 20%. That's 2x. So anyway, he didn't want to even play with me on this. He's like, Dad, be done with it. Go to the ones that's faster and just get home faster. Time is money. And then I thought about it and I said, you know what? He's probably right. So I'm going for Yulee. Unless that thing is filled, I do have a backup then, which will be Kingsland. But I'm going to go to Yulee. I'm going to plug into the V3, and I want to see how fast I charge on the V3, and hopefully I can pull the 170, 180. And there goes a nice Model 3 from Florida. Well, I'm not so sure that I did the right thing by listening to the Tesla nav sending me to the Yulee charger on these back roads, because I'm doing 28 miles an hour behind a travel trailer and I can't pass because this road is a mess. So I just put in the
navigation into Waze. That was a little bit amateur on my part. You know, the navigation, oh, here we go. Now, look at that. Oh, that's beautiful. Rolling coal right onto the Tesla. All right, now we're back in business here. But, you know, you got to wonder sometimes if the fact that Tesla doesn't have the, look how pretty it is through here, though. Wow, these are some beautiful trees. This is horse country we're going through. There's horse ranch after horse ranch here in Central Florida. It's a little bit cooler. It's only 96 degrees here, but you know, you just have to wonder if Tesla, by not having necessarily the intelligence that Waze has built into it, you got to kind of play with both. Still, as good as the navigation system is in Tesla, I still want to check what's the fastest way to get to where I'm going using Waze, for sure. Okay, so we're about to pull into Yulee, Florida. I've decided I'm going to go for the faster charging. I'm going to go for the V3. Not worry about the money. I'm interested to see what charging speed I'm going to get at this V3. I'm hoping it's going to be significantly north of 150. So we'll see. Let's go. Yeah, so 15%, and we cannot do dog mode. It's grayed out. So it must be under 20%, which I understand. So Bailey, I'm not going to leave you here. We're going to go for a little walk. Let me plug in. Oh, you know, when you get out of a car after you've sat in it for a while, man, as you get older, you start feeling it more and more. But let's go ahead and plug in here. There we go. Oh yeah, there it is. I got crumbs from an oatmeal cream pie on my shirt. Busted. Yeah, I do like Little Debbie oatmeal cream pies, and I think you can get like 10 of them or 12 of them for, I don't know, $3, $2.79. Look at this horrendous parking job I've done. Fail. But car's looking great. I tell you, it's driving really well. It's very smooth. I've only had the one phantom braking since I've started.
Road trips are fun, aren't they, Bailey? Oh yeah. We're just hanging here, having a good time.
So one thing that's kind of nice here that I just noticed on this new Tesla app, at least since I've used it, is you can specify if you want to find, you know, 16 kilowatt, 8 kilowatt hotels, destination chargers. Think of these as, I don't know, slow charging, I guess is the best way to think about it. Then you can add in a bunch more charging stations. And then if you add in 3, it seems like that is the superchargers themselves, right? And they get listed down here like that, which is nice. So my destination, I'd like to try to push it past St. George, actually up to St. George, and 9 stalls available. I think we're not quite there yet. It's 187 miles away. When I look at my indicated range here, 227, and if I switch the display over to percentage, I wish it would show percentage and distance on the screen at the same time. But I'm thinking that if I take this up to 80%, then St. George should be reachable. So we're gonna give this another 5%, and then we're out of here. Worst case scenario, we could always bail out at, where is this here? Walterboro. Again, all V3s, 11 of 12 available.
So we got a lot of options here. All these different superchargers are available, and you can see where we are all the way down here in Yulee. So yeah, we'll just give it a few more minutes here. Hopefully this grayed out one right here will turn red when we hit 80%. And I don't know, I feel like I could make it already because it says 187 miles and the indicated range is 231, but let's just be more conservative. We'll wait for that thing to turn red, and then as soon as it does, we're out of here. St. George tells me destination-wise is 187 miles away, and when I look at I'm at 79% state of charge. If I flip over to distance, that tells me I've got 242 miles of range. That's a 50 plus mile buffer, and I think it's time to leave. Even though on the screen here, St. George is still grayed out. It's saying I can't make it there. I challenge that. I think I can make it there, and if I can't, then what I'll do is I'll just bail out at Walterboro, and that's a 250 there. So a lot of options here, but it's time to go. I'm unplugging. It's telling me that St. George is in fact 198 miles away, and I'm showing 243 miles of range. It's telling me I'm going to get there with a 3% state of charge, which I probably will bail at Walterboro, only because I'm sure I can make it to St. George if I go slow. But you know what? There's no reason to do that. So I think that this was pretty well estimated by Tesla. I thought they were being a little too conservative, but I think anything under 5% state of charge arrival rate, that should be grayed out, not red. Just a quick update. We are 450 miles into the trip, not quite halfway yet, and we have used 137 kilowatt hours of energy, and our average consumption is 303 watt hours per mile. Now the speed limits are 70. People are mostly going at least 75 to 80, and I'm keeping up with traffic. There was a section of the road that was relatively slow, more like 60, 65. So look, for a big car, 303 watt hours per mile, I think that's pretty good. In this last leg, just to kind of give you some, I've gone 31 miles since the last charge, and gotten 343 watt hours per mile, and I'm carrying speed here, so this is interesting. Well, there you have it. That's the check-in.
Okay, so we are getting off the exit to go to Walterboro.
Now keep right toward Lodge.
Toward Lodge, okay. The Lodge or just Lodge? It sounds like Lodge.
This thing sounds like we're, you know, welcome to JetBlue Flight 1212. I mean, the motors or whatever it is, the cooling motors inside this Tesla are robust because they are loud. And here we are plugged at 152. So we hit 20% state of charge and it ramped up to just over 160, but now it's popped back down a little bit. So here we are at Walterboro, and this is kind of an interesting install because what you've got are you got 3 parking spots on each side and 6 lined up. Now I think this makes a lot of sense. I think it makes a lot of sense. All V3s, so you got 6 over here, and then you got 5 over there, and then this one over here looks like it's perhaps, you know, it's one of the ones for maybe a trailer or something like that. Well, the damage is done. I went to KFC, slipped in right under the wire. They were closing. I said, please feed me. And they said, all right. Chicken was actually pretty good. I hadn't had that in I don't even know how long. And of course I ordered it with a Diet Pepsi just to achieve equilibrium, but it was pretty good.
Okay, so I just booked a hotel for Lumberton, North Carolina. It's about 150 miles away. Bailey, you gotta wake up. You're not gonna believe where we are. We are, yeah, I know. I know, yeah, we're at south of the border, girl. Bailey. Bailey, what do you think? Are we back? We're back. South of the border. Now, the fact that it's almost midnight here at south of the border, we probably should not get out of the car. What is that? What is that? Yeah. Look at that. It's a dinosaur with a sombrero. What is this? Billy, you want to go in and play some games? There's an arcade. Maybe we should go play some games. Well, girl, I think it's about time we get out of here. And let's get back on the road and find our hotel. We've made it to the Red Roof Inn in Lumberton, North Carolina. And it is time to get some shut-eye.
Good morning from the beautiful Red Roof Inn. Where is it? There it is. Look at that. In downtown Lumberton, North Carolina. An amazing place to stay. I mean, you get to park your car right in front of your room. There may or may not be people standing outside of your room at 1 in the morning smoking cigarettes and having a good old time. I'm not suggesting that always happens, but it's possible that it might always happen. Okay, so as we prepare to leave Lumberton Red Roof Inn, we've got a 13% indicated state of charge, which is approximately 39 or 40 miles, somewhere in there. It's only 78 degrees, 7:12 a.m. And so far we've gone a total of 769 miles. This trip is about 1,380. So we've got about another 615 miles or so to go. We've averaged 314 watt hour per mile, which is pretty good. I'm happy with that. So it's time to charge. Now, I know that there is here in Lumberton, there actually is a charging station right next to the hotel. However, one of the things that I've realized is you're better off bringing this car down as low as possible in the battery pack before you plug in. And even though both Lumberton and Fayetteville are 150s, I'm gonna push it to Fayetteville, which is 29 miles away. I've got a 39-mile indicated range. Should be no issues getting there. All ready to plug in here in Fayetteville. We arrived with 1% state of charge, 4 miles of indicated range. Sort of the perfect way to start off the day here, going super low. We'll plug in and let her start charging. Now, one of the nice things is there's a Cracker Barrel across the street. And again, since I have dog mode, I'm going to just let this go. Now, one thing to keep in mind, there's two things. If you're under 20% state of charge, there's two things you cannot do. You cannot put the car in dog mode, and you cannot put the car in Sentry mode either. So keep that in mind if you're doing a late night road trip and you're thinking about plugging in the morning. You may want to actually plug in a little bit at night if you're in a shady area, just to get your state of charge above 20% so that you can actually use Sentry mode. Something I wish I had done last night. I mean, it was fine, no issues with the car, but I would have felt better having Sentry mode on. Now, look at this. This particular station over here, this looks a little crooked to me. Look at this one. Yeah, this, I don't know. You know, you typically see this in the wintertime, but this was clearly hit. Look at this here. Impact there. You know, a lot of times maybe the plows, if they don't know what they're doing, they may push the snow up against these and push them back. I've seen that, but this one clearly someone went a little hot, you know, a little hot, and probably said, oh boy, hopefully that wasn't on camera. So let's go get some breakfast. What I'll do is, as soon as I can, I'll monitor from my breakfast table. Once I hit 20% state of charge, then I'll turn dog mode on. It's only 72 degrees out. The pup will be fine for now. One thing I do love the Cracker Barrel, and I love these rocking chairs. You know, when there's a wait at the Cracker Barrel, you don't even mind, because you get to sit in one of these chairs, which are for sale. They're $189, and you can play a little checkers if you want. But I love the Cracker Barrel. You know, you walk in, they got a nice country store. The cost of a meal at Cracker Barrel is not the cost of a meal at Cracker Barrel, at least when you have kids, because there's always something that they want to buy when they come here to the Cracker Barrel. It's such a smart design. I really enjoy this place. And oh yeah, look at this. Chicken fried chicken. What the heck? Chicken fried chicken? That seems a little redundant, doesn't it? I don't know. All right, let's go get some breakfast. Yeah, just look at this store. There's so many different things in here. They got clothes, they got games, they got, I don't know, all kinds of stuff. Christmas ornaments, Halloween ornaments. But I just ordered my food, and I was able to turn on the climate control from my app. However, I'm walking back out to the car here because there's no way to turn dog mode on remotely. And I know you can turn it off, but you can't turn it on from the app, which is a weird thing. So I'm gonna walk over, I'm gonna turn dog mode on. Now, why do I want dog mode on if I can have climate control on? If somebody sees the pup in there, I want them to know that the cabin temperature is fine, even though it's not super hot out here. I just want to make sure that they know that they can that she's fine.
All right, this is a public service announcement for anyone who has never had a breakfast in the deep south. We'll start off with some grits. Basically, this is a cream of wheat, except it's cream of corn. And then over here, you got your fried chicken, which is basically fried chicken with gravy on top of it. A couple of eggs over medium, nothing fancy there. And then to top it off, some biscuits with gravy. I mean, is this not a breakfast of champions?
After that, oh my, that diet breakfast that I had there, fried chicken, man. Anyway, one of the things I learned is that you can't turn sentry mode on when dog mode is on, which actually makes sense to me because you don't want the dog jumping around and sentry mode getting knocked, getting turned on. But what I would suggest to Tesla is that there should be at least a camera mode, maybe a dog sentry mode, which I'd like to be able to see what's going on around the car while the dog is in the car. So maybe they have a detuned version of sentry mode. Anyway, I actually charged up. I took my time. I charged up to about 95%, 94%. I've got I don't even know where I'm going next. I'm just going. I got over 250 miles of range indicated. And yeah, so road trip continues. Let's go. And of course it's raining out. I mean, what would a out of spec road trip be without rain, right? So we're about ready to cross over into Virginia? How about into Virginia, Dave? I guess it's been a long trip. We're 932 miles into the trip. Just a quick summary. 315 watt hours per mile. Total energy, 294 kilowatt hours. Now think about that. If the equivalent, for those of you who are new to charging electric cars, 1 gallon of gas is a measurement. If you have a 16-gallon gas tank, this car has a 95 kilowatt hour battery pack. It says it's 100, but it's about 95 kilowatt hours. So far on this trip, I've burned 294 kilowatt hours. So that's about 3 full, if you will, tankfuls of battery energy. And and so look, I'm pretty happy with the efficiency of this car. And boom, we're in Virginia. That's a tribute to my daughter Katie.
always got to clap your hands when you go from one state to the other. I don't do it all the time, but when I think about it, I do. So yeah, it's 80 degrees out. We are shooting for, where are we going? Colonial Heights, Virginia. It's projected that we'll arrive there with a 14% state of charge. Currently we are, let's take a look at this. We are at a, 36% state of charge right now. And yeah, trip's going well. A lot more traffic today, and it's building up as it gets later on in the morning. So maybe I should have gotten up earlier. Whatever. I had a good night's sleep. So let's keep motoring on here, folks. So down to 25% state of charge, and I am reevaluating my next supercharging station. I'm going to override what Tesla originally said for me to do, which was to go to Colonial Heights. And I don't know if it was the lower speeds in the rain, or I've got more range now, so I'm going to go all the way up to, but I do believe I can get north of Richmond to Ashland. Ashland is a 8-stall, it's an 8-stall, all V3s, 250s. Okay, so we're about 8 miles from Ashland, Virginia, traveling north on 95. Just went through Richmond. The thing is, there was quite a bit of traffic. And one of the things about an electric vehicle is that when you slow down, you get a lot more range. So, interestingly enough, I'm at a 6% state of charge right now. I've only got 7.5 miles until Ashland. So we're going to pull in with plenty of buffer. I would imagine that I've got about a, I don't know, maybe a 15, 16 mile range, and I'm only 7 miles from the charger. So, you know, if this were an open road, I would say burn the electrons off by accelerating and pull in with as low a state of charge as possible. But here I've got a limiting factor, that being traffic. So pretty well played, I would say, this session. We have, let's just look at this on the trips since the last charge. We've gone 2 216 miles. We've burned 68 kilowatt hours, and average energy has been 313 watt hours per mile. So again, the speeds were down pretty low, although we did hit some rain. Anyway, that's what we got. So next stop, Ashland, Virginia. Oh yeah, I love when you get messages like that. Battery very low. How low? We're pulling in with a 3% state of charge. Not that low, but yeah. So here we are at Ashland V3. It's time to plug in. Bailey, what do you think, girl? Where are you? There you are. So here we are plugged in at Ashland, and you know this particular station's quite a far way off the road. It's not right off 95. What I like about it is it's a Sheetz, which is great, and I do like Sheetz. I think they're really good. We've got a couple of cars here that are icing us, which is not cool. But what are you going to do? So Bailey, I just noticed that we were at 151 kilowatts, charging pretty fast. And when we hit 13% state of charge, we went from 3 to 13% state of charge. It ramped down, and I'm only pulling 112 kilowatts now. So I don't know what it is with this Tesla charging curve. Bailey, any comments? Hey girl. Uh-oh. What are you sniffing down there? What do you think? I mean, you're used to, like I am, we're used to the Hyundai, and now with the Genesis charging curves, this is not great. I mean, 109 at 15%. I don't know. That's just not great. Bailey, what are you digging for down there? Is there an oatmeal cream pie down there? Billy, you want some food? Here, it's time to eat. What do you think? Go ahead. Bailey, they own a Model 3. Be nice to them. What? No, that is not a Model Y. It's Bailey. It's a Model 3. I know. Eat your food. So Bailey, let's figure out where our next stop is, okay? And I think that we have one more stop before we get home. That's all. So let's go here. Let's see, can we make it to Delaware at 58% state of charge? Not quite Delaware, but we can make it to, looks like, I think this is Abington. That's right, Abington. This is a 250. It's 134 miles away. Let me just check that, make sure. We'll give it a second there. 134 miles is what it was saying. We're currently at state of charge of around 62%. We've got about 187 miles of range, so I think it's time for us to go. Are you done eating? Are you done eating? Are you tired? Oh my goodness. I think it's time to roll. Let's get going, girl. So it's time to leave. And we're going to be heading to Abington, Maryland. We're at a 63% of charge. And Abington, Maryland, it seems as though we'll say goodbye to the Sheetz here. And good place. A little tight with the Teslas. Here comes a nice Model S in. But we should arrive at Abington with a 13% state of charge. Washington, D.C. traffic, especially on a Sunday, on a weekend. I've decided to use Waze to guide me through the traffic. Now, I think there's a pretty must be a bad accident up here because this is terrible traffic right here, but I'm not as concerned with this as I am getting up towards DC. Whereas the Tesla app itself, I'm not sure that it's really going to utilize the best traffic data in order to get me to Abington the quickest way possible. So I'm going to go off. I mean, the goal is to get to Abington. That I know. We'll arrive there with a relative, 13% state of charge. But I definitely don't want to use the Tesla navigation for this. We're going to use Waze here for a little bit more accurate, especially the navigations around not only Washington, D.C., but also Baltimore. It gets a little confusing with all these different roads and So anyway, that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so as good as this Tesla en route planning is, I got a little issue with this. It's crazy. It's telling me to stop in, where is this? Laurel, Maryland. Okay, Fort Meade Road. I don't challenge that. I think that's probably, it's telling me to stop earlier than I would. It makes sense, but I would override that. And then it's telling me to go into Manhattan on Vesey Street, where there's a valet supercharger. All right, 3 reasons why that's wrong. Number 1, Manhattan. Do not go into Manhattan on a Sunday evening. Are you kidding me? That will take forever. Number 2, valet. That implies charge. That implies you're probably at some high-end either hotel or apartment building, and they're going to charge you not only what it costs for the service, I would imagine. Maybe I'm wrong, but Vesey Street, I used to work on Vesey Street. That is just the most congested area, downtown Manhattan. There's no way you should do that. So we're not doing that. It's telling me I should get home at 9:15. It's about 3:30 now. I don't really challenge that so much, but we're gonna do a little different strategy here. So my advice to you is that even as good as this Tesla navigation system is, use your brain. Don't just listen to what it tells you to do. All right, so we've changed our destination now to Northeast Maryland Supercharger. It says we'll arrive with 1% state of charge. So with all this traffic, I believe we're going to go for that, and then there'll be a bailout, at least 1 or 2. That's the nice thing about this Tesla Supercharger network, is you can get aggressive, and then depending on the traffic, if you're carrying a lower speed, you may end up getting there with 3-4%. It's only version 2s, but that's okay. That should be our last charging stop, and we're not going to New York City, that's for sure. Okay, so this will be our last charging session. I'm 190 miles from home. I'm at a 4% state of charge. So clearly what I'm gonna wanna do here is go relatively deep in the pack. And so Bailey, we're gonna be here for a little while. All right, so here we are at the Chesapeake house, and we're plugged in. These are version 2s. Probably been here for quite a while. All right, so took a little nap, went deep into the pack, 95%. I think that gives us, well, I know that gives us plenty of distance. According to the Tesla, 289 miles. So we have plenty of range to get home. Bailey, I think, I know you just took a little nap too. Maybe you're still napping. There you are. So yeah, I think it's time to hit the road. And one last leg of the trip, off we go. Well, Bailey, we did it. We're home. And we had an amazing road trip, and I just want to thank you for being such a great travel companion. You really are a good girl. The final statistics here are we went 1,416 miles. Normally, it's only 1,382 or so, 1,380, something like that. But because we went up, remember we went to visit Katie in Tampa, that was a little bit longer of a trip. We actually burned 420 kilowatt hours worth of energy, and we just ticked under that 300 watt hour per mile, 297 watt hour per mile. I think we met up a lot of speed. Washington, D.C., boy, that was some horrible traffic. Even Baltimore was, I guess Baltimore wasn't too bad. But look, you know, thank you for all of those that have actually stuck with us throughout this whole trip. I'm hoping that perhaps you enjoyed taking a road trip with me, Tesla style, which I hadn't done in a while. And I must tell you, it's a lot easier with a Tesla, that's for sure. So many more superchargers along the way. And when you plug in, they just tend to work. There are some issues with it though, and I wasn't super happy with how fast this particular car, this 2018 Model S 100D charged, but that can be solved with a new Model S. Thank you so much, all of you, for watching this episode of Out of Spec Dave. Take care now. Bye-bye.